All right, so that was fun. I don't know how long I was missing, but the recording is still gonna be up. Not spicy. All right. This is gonna definitely be something that I break up into multiple parts because there is no way that with all of the tech issues I had today, even though I started it early, there's no way that I am going to get even nearly as much as I wanted to get done. All right, so what I did, if you, I'll show the pictures later for anybody who missed it. Or I will be posting those pictures. I did not show the pictures, but I'm going to show how I did it. So I needed to, one of the things that I noticed when I took pictures after the rough in is I had left way too much back here. And please feel free to ask questions. So what I was saying about that is basically the way it's supposed to work is from the end of the chest, the widest point of the chest. I'm trying to look at it on the camera, and like where the back of the leg is. That's one section. And then the next section is from the back of the leg to the front of the thigh, which is where the back, that includes the band. So it goes all the way to the back of the band. That is another section. And then the next section is from the band to the butt. And that's another section. It is supposed to be even on all, they're supposed to be even widths. So I realized I had to take more off the back of this leg in order to get that correct. And now I added in the, so straight up and down, and you want to make sure you go all the way up to where the elbow is. And then on this side, I went from where the bend is basically, and I did a 45-degree angle here. You want to make sure that it is a very like sharp like angle there. So got that in. And then I like to just do, this is just kind of round. So I like to, after I kind of fluff this out, do a real quick, say we're calling first. In or where the middle of this is. That's the end of the chest. It's straight down from the middle of the muzzle, straight down. So we've got a pretty good length on the chest there. So I'm going to take, and you can kind of see what I'm doing, and start, I start here and kind of go around. And I'm just really moving around where I want the body to be. And sometimes I have to go back and take a little bit more off of an area, like I realized here. And you can, when you're looking at it, you can look at what is sitting outliers. So as long as you have like your main points, which would be from the top of the neck to where the shoulder, or it turns into leg basically. So you know where that is and how wide that leg should be. So from there, That's the widest part on here. So now I'm just connecting this in a rounded fashion. So when you look at it from an angle as you're scissoring, you can see like what sticks out. So like on this side, you can see what's sticking out. As you're in here, you can see what's sticking out. And it's literally just going over and making sure that you're holding with your scissors or with your fingers straight. And not curling. You want them straight out and just moving your thumb. So I am constantly turning. Well, in a competition, I'm turning my body because they want you to keep it in one direction the whole time. But in this case, I am showing you guys. So I'm just turning the dog. So now you can see there's a little bit more just of a nice even shape. My scissoring is not perfect. I'm not going for perfect scissoring necessarily. I don't want anything crazy. But I am going to do one last go over after this. The whole body is like nice and sculpted. So as you go, you just kind of see, like you can see there's some sticking out up here. So I'm going to and the goal on this pass is to really just smooth everything out and get your lines correct. So that you have the correct shape going on. So here I can keep going all the way at my 40-degree angle. I'll go all the way across because it's going to be that way all the way across. That helps me to keep things balanced from one side to the other if I do these kind of things, so that they are done at the same time, and then I can go back. What the fuck is this on? And then I can go back and like fix any weird stuff. But this gives me both sides are even now. And then I'll also make the legs 2 legs instead of basically 1. So now we've got some shape going on. And during this part, you are going to do a lot of like fluffing everything out and getting all of the hairs. But you'll see during the last part, you're not really doing that as much. So now I want to make sure we're keeping this 45-degree angle here. So in order to do that, to make sure it's even on both sides, I like to do kind of a keep it turned, and I can take anything that's off or that needs to be taken off. That's all 45. And then I do the same thing on the other side. So, and this would look better normally. I'm not finished with that side yet. So I'm going to do 45-degree angle here and go down. Words. So this would be all even, and then I would take that 45-degree and just keep extending it by turning my scissors. And sometimes you can do it this way. So going back to this side, now you can see that we have this angle and this angle. Now we just need, well, this should be, and we know where the end is. This is the furthest point, is that point. So we're just going to take and round that off. I'll try to do it. Maybe if I do it from this side, you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Like I said, this is a lot faster to do with curved scissors. I just really want to be as good as them in Korea. And so I am trying to practice with the straights like they do it. It is not required. You do not have to make it hard on yourself. I'm only doing this for practice because I need to practice my scissors. All right. So now you can see it's a nice round chest. This is the biggest difference between the US and Korea, is they tend to have more prominent chests where we would do a much flatter chest. But that's how they do the chest. And then when you go to please ask me questions, I'm just rambling at this point. When you go to do the legs, I'm going to start with front length. So sometimes you have to take a little more off the bottom and clean that up. Because now that you've taken off a lot more hair, you can see what you need to take better. So start straight like this. And I'm doing it at weird, don't pay attention to the way I'm actually holding things. I'm doing it at weird angles so you can see. But so I've done it straight, and then I just turn a little bit. And then I do another pass down. I took too much off of that. And so they just kind of keep going up and down little by little to remove all of the extra hair, basically. And you want to remove all of that like squareness that we had. So you can see like this still has that squareness, or this is looking much more round. So again, I'm practicing doing it with the straights. So don't judge. So you take that all the way around. Sometimes I take like the main part of the angle off because it's just so much hair. And then I'll go back. And yes, hair pulls out every time you comb through it, and it sucks. So I'm going to try to do it so you can see it better. So you can see where my top and bottom lines are. So I'm going to just so you can see like that's where I did the line. So I'm just keep going. And I'll just keep rounding. And you should always be looking at all different directions. I was currently actually looking down this way, realized I had a little too much going on outwards towards the camera, so I just took a little bit more off. So make sure you're constantly checking all different angles. That's how you're going to see the stuff you missed. And you can lift as long as you have 2 feet on the table, and you shouldn't tilt it too much. That you wouldn't want to do this, but you can do this. And this is just for competition in Korea, but that's why I'm talking about it. So oh, okay. It's pretty darn good. All right. So that's the outside of the leg. However, I do still need to do the inside of the leg, which sucks. So also, get yourself a rubber mallet like they use for putting in spikes. It really works. Just you can get little mini ones. They're perfect for getting these things to stick. Okay, so we need to clear this out more. So starting, I'm taking my scissors and just all the way up there. Just taking as much out as I can there. So I've opened it up a little, and then I like to do a little first. Actually, I like to pull everything from the back like this. Anything that's sticking out, cut it off, and then I actually will do it the same the other direction. Ooh, don't mind me. And anything that's sticking out past the leg now, that can go. So now it's looking a little better. So I'm going to just kind of pull it all out a little bit. And I'm just going to go down the one side where approximately I will have the line. And then I'm doing the other section of the other side. Like that. No, it is not perfect yet. Because it takes work to be perfect. And it's also never going to be perfect, and that's fine. But it takes a couple times. It really doesn't take nearly this long in, like, if you're just focusing on, doing this for fun. And not time. And I'm teaching. And if I was doing a timed one, I wouldn't talk so much. Which I will, at some point, do a timed one on the live, where you'll see it in the full amount of time that it takes. So, there. I got that side a little bit better. It's still very square, but I'm just going to grab the other side while I'm at it. There we go. So that's more squared off still. So I'm gonna comb it out. And just like I was doing on this side, which now I'm realizing I need a little bit more. These legs are supposed to be straight up and down. They will not be, because I can't do anything straight, but we're gonna try. See that? That's a leg. I got a leg. Alright. So now I gotta do the other side. Because why not? I should really I'm just gonna mark where I need to take off all this hair. Like I said, we did not do it quite far enough forward yesterday. Still. Don't do that, Stephanie. Is this real? Alright. This is going straight down from the middle. No, from the neck. The neck is shaved here, straight down. That's right here. Yeah. So, and we want to make sure we're matching up the oh, what time is it? All right, 15 more minutes. I'll at least finish this. So yeah, that's more like where we're going with the leg size. Anyways, so now we're gonna do rounding out this side. So from that point, so from that point where the yeah. Doing 45 degrees. While I'm doing that, I can round this corner-ish area out a little. Then we want to do this angle again, which we did a little bit when we did the other side. So, but I just want to make sure. We've got that angle. Yep. And then curling that around. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that chest. All right. So now I got to get this whole thing sorted out. First thing I like to do. And we've done this before, so should be even easier the second time. I'm just going right above the foot, all the way around, because that is exactly where I want it to end. I had given myself a little extra space before, during the rough cut, because I get nervous. But now I'm taking that off. So, we're going to look at that line. And we want to connect the dots and make that nice and smooth. I'm going to do it from this side. Just always make sure that you can see the hair that you're cutting. So, like right now, I'm standing back behind the dog and I am looking at it this way. And I'm taking off anything that sticks out of my line from that direction. That's what I'm looking at. And I just keep turning to get it Okay, so now I gotta kind of start doing the rounding out around the legs. So in this part, I'm taking off that first kind of main corner. Yeah. Okay. And listen, I know that this takes a while, and that is why I'm just practicing it. But when you get used to it and you do it, and you've learned it, and you're really good at it, like you could go just as fast as like the Korean groomers do, and they do this in 2 hours. Like the whole thing from start to finish. I mean, I did it in 2 hours too, but at a very different skill level. Excuse me. There we go. All right. I'm never going to be happy. I wish it looked as good in person as it does on the screen, because that'd be great. So, if anybody who's watching this, whether live or after the fact watching the recording, I would love to have feedback. I'm doing this mostly for me, get me to practice. But also, I am trying to get people interested in the Korea trip next year. It'll be next April. And I want to show everybody that it's not nearly as intimidating as it looks, and I can help. Um, I am gonna do. I mean, if you ever, you can always work on your dog while you're watching me. Maybe I could do like at some point if I can figure it out where a bunch of us could be doing it. I don't know. I want to have some get-togethers at my school. Um, so I want people in general to just be interested in model dog, and so if you are, I want your feedback on what you want to learn. I don't really know how else to explain how to do this, which is why it'd be great if there was questions, but that's fine. Um, I next week, Tuesday, I will plan on working on the back half of the dog, which, you know, that'll be fun. I think the back half is my least favorite to work on, but it's fine. Everything's fine. No, I lied. The head is my least favorite. But I'm gonna just quick finish up the jacket. So I'm almost finished with the jacket. Doing the kind of sculpting. I don't know what to call it. There should be a word for that. I don't know. I'm not here for perfect terms. Um, but um, things, stuff. I don't know what I was talking about anymore. Oh, next week I'm going to do the back half instead of the front half of sculpting this week or today. It takes longer when I'm, teaching it. I'm kind of explaining it right now. Um, at some point, I'm going to do some timed ones where you'll just get to see me work on it in like the time that I would have for a competition. So. Also, this should be matching. Mine mostly is. It should be. Should be and is are two different things. Um, and then the back. Remember, Stephanie, you're gonna clean that up later. So the band will get cleaned up later. Like I said, I'm just kind of curving it and watching that line, making sure that it stays even all the way around. So you're always kind of turning the dog, turning yourself. So I can look at this direction, make sure that looks all even. Like this kind of looks like I don't have too much on here. Yeah, see? Not quite straight. I'm also, if anybody, even if you're not a groomer, wanted to learn how to do model dog, to go to the competition next year. I am happy to do some education on that. If you want to come here, um, I am trying to get more people interested so that we can have a full team. Uh, you do have to pay your own way, which I will be posting all of that very soon. But it'll be like an all-inclusive kind of thing. Okay. There. That is the front end on that side. I kind of have to finish. I have to fix this a little, but ooh. I definitely next year want to try to get people together for some karaoke because you can do like party rooms where it's just your group, and I think that would be fun. Not everybody has to do this. Dun, 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 dun. I'm about to get off of here. I will finish the back half next Tuesday, and maybe the head and tail, but I don't make any promises. But we'll finish the rest of this, like rounding off sculpting phase, hopefully next week. And then we'll do the final go through. But if you pay attention to my social medias, my Instagram, my Facebook, my threads, usually I do post some videos, like little snippets of the lives. And I'm also going to start posting some graphics that I made that explain this more in a visual way that way. So that all will be like available to people. I actually gotta finish the inside of this light because I forgot about it. Okay. So that is the front. So no, can't do today. The front end. There's a word for it. And there's always a little piece in the middle that you miss, because that's how that works. All right. So see you guys next Tuesday, and keep an eye out for other posts about how I like the visuals and stuff. And I hopefully will be posting stuff about Korea soon. So thank you for coming. Bye.